What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So in today's video, we're back with another tier list video. I know a lot of people love these videos, of course, so of course I'm really happy to bring you guys these videos once again. Obviously, you know, we need to go through some things first. You should not be taking this list as like the law of One Piece Treasure Cruise. I see some people on Discord servers, they spout out some random shit. They say like, you know, oh, Toadskii has, you know, this character in this tier, which means, you know, that I only need one more and I've got all this character in this tier and that's the best characters, that's all I need to clear content, which is not entirely true, honestly. This is just my personal opinion as to where Sugofest exclusive characters are ranked in the game compared to each other. Now, of course, this does take into account their captain ability, their special ability, support ability, sailor effects, it's everything, right? So this is just in terms of, if you pull a red, how good is that character? Now, there might be some units that you think should be on here that aren't on the list at all. I just personally think they're not as useful or as required. One that a lot of people do spout out would be Legend Magellan. If I would have him on here, he would be in this lowest tier. It's just, I just don't feel he's as required as some other characters in the game. I don't regularly use Magellan. The only time I would ever use him is if you could build a zombie team during, what do you call it, Kizuna mode, right? Which again is not a requirement. You don't need Magellan to, you know, play through Kizuna to get to box 7. That is 100% not a requirement. But let's go ahead and have a look here. So of course, these are the criteria that I use in terms of where I rank the characters. So how powerful is the legend? How much damage are they dealing? The speed of the legend, how fast are they at clearing certain content? Reliability, so how reliable are they? Are they very frail? Do they die a lot? Do you need very specific characters in order for them to clear content? If that's the case, that will obviously lower their reliability. Their clear rate as a captain, so how much overall content are they able to do? Some, like, I wouldn't say some, I mean like most legends that release nowadays can literally do everything. Of course, you gotta have the right units to do it, but most legends that release from here on out, they can do everything. And then you've got usable units, like, so how many other units in the game do they have access to? Are they restricted to one class? Do they have many different classes or many different colors? Are they rainbow? That obviously will make the character a lot better than some others. But let's go ahead and start things off with tier 4. Absolutely no changes here with tier 4. Corazon, the best support ability in the game, I feel, or he will be equaled, I think, when version 1 Rayleigh 6+ gets his support ability, because it's essentially the same support, but instead of supporting Law, he supports Luffy instead, which again is really, really nice. And that's one of the reasons why Luffy and Law is considered one of the best legends in the game. Even people were comparing the release of Shanks, the new legend on JP, to Luffy and Law and comparing which one's better. I still personally think Luffy and Law is better, and one of the main components to that is the fact that Luffy and Law have some of the best supports you can put on them in the game. And that's a huge thing, because supports are so important in the game right now. And especially characters like Corazon, just the fact that you can avoid debuffs no matter what is ridiculous. So Corazon is like, he's really, really old, and I think a lot of people would agree to the fact that, yeah, he's not a good character, but you want him for that support ability, right? He does eventually get a buffed limit break or a limit break expansion, which actually makes his captain ability somewhat useful, I would say. So that's something to look forward to in the future. Maybe when that comes out, I might showcase him in a couple different pieces of content. But really cool thing about him is Free Spirit Cerebral, so you can actually use him with Sabo and Coalla as a friend captain. Just putting it out there. Next, we've got V1 Law. Again, another really, really good sub-unit. You can use him to make your other specials bypass defensive effects. That's the main reason you would want this guy. Everything else about the character isn't that enticing. Just, you want him for that special. Shirahoshi, again, you'd mainly just want him for that special. Yes, you actually can still use her as a captain with friend insert X legend to clear content. I know she was actually able to clear the 0 stamina Trafalgar Law, the Wano event that's out right now on Global. She was able to clear that, which is pretty good to see, but of course it does require some other Stallia type units, you know, NL and etc., all those types of units. This V2 Law, a lot of people did suggest like you should probably just take him out of tier 3 or tier 4, sorry, and I can understand where people are coming from. He's overall not not a very great legend, but you still have to look at the facts that yes, you still can use him as a captain with a friend Sabo and Coalla, and you can still decimate bosses. Like, that's no problem. Yeah, his captain ability is a bit weaker, being a 3x boost, but he is a really good all booster for that class, right? So yes, he isn't as good, but he's usable still. We've got this Boa, again, Sabo and Coalla friend captain is very good for her. We've got this Lucci. Shooters are just really bad. If shooters were a lot better, he would be way up the list. The amount of damage he actually provides is really good, especially with his super evolution. And honestly, just got the new support ability for him, which gives the 1.5 color affinity to shooters when you reach the final stage. Very, very, very good unit for a support. So if you are looking to build shooters in the future, especially when Halloween Ace comes out, this guy might be worth investing support medals into. Vitu Rayleigh, hopefully he gets a support build. It's not support, well, actually, yeah, I don't know if he gets a support ability, but he needs a super evolution. I said that last tier list as well. He needs a super evolution. Tazora needs a super evolution. Gart needs a super evolution. I'm not a big fan of Brook, but I understand why he should be here. I guess he's kind of like the same vein as Magellan in a way, where like, yeah, I don't really use him except for Kizuna clashes, but I can actually see myself using him as a sub because he has so many different things going on. He heals, he gives you beneficial orbs. I think he health cuts as well, or he has a chance to KO enemies depending on how much HP they have. I think he's a damage reducer as well. He just does so much as a sub. So for utility-wise, he's really, really nice to have. I think as a sub, he makes recovery in tandem beneficial for your entire team as well. So that's really, really good. And then Jack, usability is off the charts. And something to note about Jack as well is that he is currently on global, to my knowledge, the best character to put as a support on Legend Kaido to give him the most damage output. I think he totals out to around 260 additional attack, which is huge for a support ability. So if you are looking to invest in just using Legend Kaido, you can put this guy as a support on him if he is maxed out. It gives you a lot of additional attack and HP, mind you. But you gotta remember, if you do use him as a support on Kaido, it means you can't use other Jack characters as subs under Kaido. So putting it out there though. So that's it for tier 4. Nothing really special, but you know, it is what it is. Now let's move up to tier 3. Now I actually did move one character from this tier up to tier 2, and we'll talk about that when we get to tier 2. But legitimately no changes here. I don't feel like any of these characters really deserve to go up. I mean, I know people love the Kung Fu Luffy. Vitu Jinbei potentially could have gone up because of the release of Stampede Luffy, understandably so. Stampede Luffy is really, really good legend, and of course he's the only one I am missing still, but he's so good, right? And we'll talk about Stampede Luffy when we get to him again, because I've already talked about him previously, but man, Vitu Jinbei, he is usable, but he needs a 6+. He is in desperate need of a 6+. V1 Big Mom, I'm not a big fan of her either. Shiki's still good. Dude, this guy, we're looking at Katakuri. I cannot wait for his super evolution, dude. Oh my god, it's going to be so much fun playing with Katakuri again, but I digress. Katakuri's good, and he's definitely moving up when he gets his super evolution. Nami, honestly, potentially could go to tier 2, but then again, looking at the tier 2 characters, her captain ability isn't as great, being a mono Dex. Mono Dex captain isn't that great. Of course, you could actually technically use her as a captain with a friend Kaido and run a full Dex striker powerhouse team. That's an option, I suppose. That could work, I guess, actually. That's not a terrible idea. Specifically if you're going up predominantly quick bosses, that would actually kind of work. But outside of that, not so much. I actually did use V2 Doflamingo for my Sabo and Koalla team against Coliseum Hody Jones, and that worked very well, so that was cool. But of course, this whole anniversary month, I gotta say this because it actually pertains to characters and where they're ranked a little bit later. This entire month is based around Legend Kaido, right? Or this event period is based around Legend Kaido. For no reason are they going to slap on normal attacks only for content where Kaido is supposed to be the most predominant character used. For that, like saying that though, like, yeah, V2 Doflamingo was able to absolutely be a predominant factor as to why certain teams were able to do what they were able to do against Coliseum Hody Jones. But look, V2 Doflamingo, I still rank him here. It's just normal attacks only, just destroy him. They destroy so many characters in the game, and that's why certain characters are not ranked as high as what you would think. But we'll move on because there's nothing really amazing here in tier 3. Now, tier 2 is wild because there are so many characters in here now. But the thing is like, the characters in tier 2 are like not as good as the ones in tier 1 in my personal opinion, but they are way better than the characters in tier 3. Like, I would take any of these characters here over any of the characters here in tier 3. Just in terms of clearing content, I'd much rather use the characters in tier 2 here. Right, so the character that moved up from tier 3 was actually Shirahoshi Mancherry. I had her down there previously, and honestly, looking back at it, I feel like kind of stupid for ranking her in that position, just because throughout this month specifically, I actually did use her as a sub in a lot of content. The fact that she just has that really awesome ability to heal, guaranteed full board of orbs, as well as removing 10 turns of any status ailment is really good, right? And even moving forward as the normal attacks only continues to arrive on content, the ability to remove that is really good. Of course, she only can remove 10 turns of it. I sincerely hope sometime in the future there's going to be a character that can completely remove it. That would be epic. Saying that though, Shirahoshi Mancherry and her usage as a sub is definitely there, right? She is really, really good. but her captain ability is awful, man. Like, I don't care what anyone says, her captain ability is one of the worst captain abilities that we've had of recent time. Like, who are the more recent characters that released? Like Stampede Luffy, Kaido, Bullet, then you got the waifus, and then before that was Sabo, Coalla, Luffy, Law, Vitu, Big Mom, the Vitu slashes. Like, dude, her captain ability is just not good. I mean, it's just straight that. It's not good. But let's move all the way up to the start, right? So you got Legend Lucy, right? So Legend Lucy is, I guess, technically considered a free-to-play character now. I don't know about you, but I consider him as a free-to-play character now. I suppose people that start after this anniversary period are not going to be able to get this character as a free-to-play, account. But look, the fact that he is given away for free is wild, because he is still really, really good. And I mentioned it in my How to Kaido video. You can still run him as a captain with a friend Kaido and destroy content. And of course, he will be getting his Super Evolution in the future, which just improves upon what is already built in his kit. When he does Super Evolve, though, mind you, he doesn't work with Legend Kaido anymore because he's not a striker or a powerhouse unit. So mind you, but still, Legend Lucy is still a really good unit. If that was a dupe that you got from the Chopman missions, I still would probably save one, a strength one for if you need a strength version, and then a quick one in case you need a quick version. That's what I would do. That's what I would suggest, but that's up to you at the end of the day. Luffy and Ace, despite their age being the first Legend dual unit in the game, I do still think they're very good, especially because they can still partner very well with Sabo and Coalla, and when you've got those two as captains, you've got an Orb Booster and a Type Booster, Orb Manipulator, Remove Beneficial Orb Enable, you've got Color Affinity with the Switch ability. Like, there's lots of things going on just with those captains alone, and that still provides a lot of space to put different characters on your crew there. So I do still think that, Luffy and Ace are still good. They're definitely better than a lot of the legends here, that is for sure. V2 Shanks, I use him as a sub so often, dude. He is very strong, good classes, great stats, got a good sailor ability, making Psi Orbs beneficial to your entire team. Like, there's nothing really bad about this unit. His captain ability, like being a base 3.5, it's fine, but you'd much rather use other characters as a captain, but his special ability is still so good to this day. Full board of orbs, 2.25 attack, and a chain boost. What more could you ask for? The Admirals are still really solid. V2 Sanji is still solid as well. He's in the same echelon as V2 Mihawk. I feel like they're about the same, they're on the same wavelength there. Hopefully we get V3 Kuzan soon. I'm really looking forward to him because he's hard to place because he's like Legend Lucy, but he's also like these two, and it's like a combination of like these two characters. Like, it's hard to place him. I don't know if he might be in tier 1. I don't know. I hope I can pull him and then I can play around with him and test him from there, but I do think that V3 Kuzan will be very, very strong. Capone is still very solid, but again, shooters aren't the best class in the game. He'll get a little bit more improvement from the Halloween Ace, especially using him as a friend captain. You're going to get a lot of improvement out of that as you get inbuilt utility with Halloween Ace as a friend. You get beneficial orbs. Well, he actually still provides beneficial orbs anyway, but that's just something to look forward to. Carrot is still solid, of course, not very good for long content. Cracker, probably one of the best subs in the game on global right now. Dex Sabo, to be fair, I don't use Dex Sabo that often. His captain ability, the fact that you have to continuously kill stuff every single turn, means that, again, for more difficult based content, he is not going to be ideal. But as a sub unit, providing an orb boost and a chain lock for 3 separate classes is very strong. So because of that, he's still one of the better subs to have in the game. And he's a Sabo unit. Everyone loves Sabo, right? Building teams with him is actually pretty good as well. I think he gets access to, what, fighters, shooters, and free spirit? Like, that's really solid. The slashes, look, I think they're still fine. Nothing really to say there. Look, slashes are still pretty strong, honestly, because you got access to Luffy and Law still. And Luffy and Law technically could be considered a slasher captain because they're classified as a slasher when Law or when they're in their dual form. So that's pretty cool, right? And especially when you have, you can switch even to Luffy, and they're still Rainbow captains, so you can run a full slasher team with still these guys as subs. You can run Mihawk as a captain. Zoro as a captain isn't as ideal, as I've mentioned in previous tier list videos, but still, these characters are still good. Then you've got the Cat Dog is solid. I actually still really love using that character. V2 Big Mom, again, another, like, same echelon as V2 Shanks, being in the fact that she's one of the best subs to have because of that 3.5 chain lock, the stat boosts. She's great. Then you got Vivi Rebecca to finish off tier 2. Vivi Rebecca are probably on the same tier as Cracker in terms of being a sub. It's the fact that their captain ability, is good, but if you're not attacking with type advantage, you're not doing anything. Like, you are barely doing any damage at all. But saying that, though, if you do attack with type advantage, it's like a 4.3 in their dual form. Like, it's crazy. Like, their multiplier is actually stupid. Absolutely stupid. And of course, they've got a great special that removes all turns of blue and Rainbow Shield, 2 turns of color affinity. Yeah, Viva Rebecca's strong. Probably the best switch ability in the game, in my personal opinion, right? The 2000 heal guaranteed. You get the 2.5 chain lock. You change strength and dex to matching on Cerebral and Strikers. She's good. Nothing really much more to say. These characters didn't move places aside from Shirahoshi Manshiro moving up from tier 3. Nothing I really need to say here. But this is where stuff goes down. Now, this is the part where a lot of people have been waiting for, right? Here we have tier 1. Now, obviously, there is a tier 0, which is a little bit higher than this. So people might wonder, okay, why have you got Kaido in tier 1? Now, this is what I was saying a little bit earlier in my tier list video. Normal attacks only destroys Legend Kaido. Like, yes, Kaido still has a 4x based captain ability for 2 separate classes, as well as providing an HP boost. That is still good. However, you gotta remember, with normal attacks only inflicted to your team, his special ability becomes useless, his end of turn damage on his captain ability is useless, so if normal attacks only is inflicted, all you've got is a 4x based captain with a 1.25 HP boost. His special ability being useless is a very big deal. You know, 4x base is not bad by any means. I'm not saying that that is bad, I'm just saying that compared to other characters that get inflicted with that debuff, he is one of the most useless captains under normal attacks only. And that's why Katakuri also moved down from tier 0. Normal attacks only, like when you compare these two characters with normal attacks only, Katakuri, you still need to attack with type advantage to at least get a 4.66 multiplier. That is still really strong. However, if you're not attacking with type advantage, which you're not going to for your entire team predominantly, you've only got a 3.3 multiplier. So look, like you gotta take the good and the bad with this, and I really hate that normal attacks only is such a predominant debuff moving forward. But look, you have to state the facts here. You have to state the facts, and normal attacks only just destroys these two characters specifically. However, we did just get the super evolution of Whitebeard. Now, Whitebeard, interestingly enough, they removed his damage from his special. I know a lot of people are kind of mad about that, but the fact that he also now will remove Despair and Burn is actually pretty solid. His base multiplier went up from 2.5 to 3.25, so scaling from 3.25 to 4.5 is very strong. He is still a type booster for his two classes, the same classes as Kaido. He still removes a bunch of Despair below 50%. He provides damage reduction below 50%. Like, Whitebeard is looking really, really good right now, and I've been using him a lot actually since his super evolution came out, and he is impressive, very impressive. Like, I know a lot of people hate the fact that he is a low HP captain, but dude, like, you do not have to be that low to dish out like over 10 million damage. Like, this guy is a beast, and I mean that. Like, this guy is insane. Saying that though, yes, he is still a low HP captain, and you don't get any beneficial slots, which is kind of a bad thing with the character. You do have to rely on other characters to grant you more slots to deal more damage overall. And that has actually been a problem with him. I haven't really tested out too much right now. That's why I haven't moved him up to like tier 0. But in the past, when I've been using the old, 6-star Whitebeard before his super evolution, if I didn't get matching orbs, I died on certain content, and that really, really sucks, right? But saying that though, like, as a captain, he's still so strong. As a sub, even under Kaido, he's very strong. So look, I think Whitebeard and Kaido, they work in tandem very well together. And the other characters in this tier list, we've got Whitebeard and Marco, who have not changed. We have Sanji and Judge, who also have not changed, and still are one of the better characters to use under Kaido as well. So you can get some really cool synergy with these characters. And then you got Batu and Cavendish, which the really bad thing about like these characters specifically is that they're only like catered to one class, but in that one class they are like the gods of those classes, right? But like, yeah, outside of that they don't have much use, unfortunately. So look, that's my opinions on these characters. As I said, Kaido, I know a lot of people want him to be tier 0, and I think if you're a beginner in this game, I think Kaido is probably one of the best characters you could reroll for. The fact that you can just slap him on a team, double Kaido, gets through most easy content in the game. Most story modes you shouldn't have an issue. Most early raids you're not really going to be having too many issues. Most Colosseum units are going to be quite simple under Kaido, right? So look, Kaido is very good for people who need to reroll, but I'm talking about in the end game. I'm talking about more difficult pieces of content. This might be a little bit of a struggle, and yes, for some of the more older GARP challenges, that's not going to be a problem because normal attacks only wasn't invented back then. So Kaido is still able to decimate those types of bosses. The only thing that really stops him is barriers, but as long as you're breaking that barrier, you're just wave clearing every room, right? So it's pretty interesting to see that, but as content moves forward, I would not disagree with you if you put Kaido in tier 0. I would not disagree with you. But I'd say moving forward, yeah, I don't think he's going to be in tier 0 for that long. That's what I'm saying. But speaking of tier 0, here we have tier 0. Now, I've just went through this whole long span of saying why normal attacks only ruins certain characters, and I've got Bullet in tier 0. So a lot of people might be asking questions, why is Bullet in tier 0? Because of those, you know, factors that you just mentioned earlier. Now, the main reason for that is if you compare Bullet, Vitu Katakuri, and Kaido under normal attacks only, which one would you rather have as the captain? And I can tell you, for sure, 100% of the time, you would want Bullet as your captain. Number one, the amount of characters that he has usable compared to Katakuri and Kaido is significant. You're essentially 66% of the game, give or take, because of the 3 out of the 5 typings. He also is a 4x boost to those typings, which is good. That's on par with Kaido, but Kaido only boosts 2 classes, whereas he boosts 3 colors. A little bit of a discrepancy there. And he's super effective against all types with a self 4.75 attack boost. Bullet is just better as a captain compared to these two under that certain debuff. If that debuff is not there, then you can have a little bit more of a different discussion. But because that debuff is around, I think Bullet is slightly edging out Kaido. But as a sub, right? As a sub, I do think that Kaido is a better unit as a sub because you don't have to do anything in order to get that massive wave clear of damage. You can just literally one tap as a sub and you'll still get that awesome buff, right? But you do have to still, you know, ensure that Bullet is like hitting really hard with his normal attacks to ensure that his special will do more damage, right? So as a sub, I do think Kaido is slightly better. But as a captain, I do think that Bullet actually will take his place personally. The other characters in this tier have not changed though. We've got Snake Man still, despite his age once again, is still so good. Luffy and Law, who I think is the best legend in the game right now. We've got Sabo and Coalla, who continue to show even on Japan. Even on Japan right now, Sabo and Coalla are tier 0. They are just continuously beating everything, which is awesome to see. And then you've got Stampede Luffy. Now, Stampede Luffy, I really like his kit. I love the fact that he has the inbuilt utility captain effect. And the really cool thing with him is you can partner him up perfectly under Legend Kaido. So as long as you're building a strength, dex, and Psi team predominantly of strikers and powerhouse, you can run a Stampede Luffy captain with a friend Kaido, and that's gonna clear a lot of content, no doubt in my mind. I mean, even Snake Man and a friend Kaido, that's gonna wave clear and make things really, really easy. Even this character, Luffy Law, that isn't really boosted under Kaido, you can still run that because he's a rainbow captain. You're still getting a lot of benefits from that. But look, compared to the last tier list that I uploaded at the beginning of February, there's no real reason why this should have changed. The only real thing that I think a lot of people are going to be upset about is Kaido not being in tier 0, but look, I've stated my facts about it, and that's my personal opinion. If you don't disagree, that's completely fine, right? So, for people who have played during the anniversary or are looking to play during the anniversary, and, you know, which characters should you reroll for, of course, you actually are able to get this Snake Man just from the Straw Hat reroll for free, which is fine. So, as long as you're rerolling for the quick Gear 4 Luffy, you'll be able to get Snake Man eventually when you super evolve him. But if you're looking for characters who you should reroll for specifically, I think Kaido is a really good option because he'll make your early and mid game very easy in your time playing this game. I do think Bullet is still really worth it. Of course, you can't really get him to his 6-star plus form because you need to wait for these super evolved skulls to come back, and that's a very difficult island, especially if you are just starting off the game. So if you are just starting off the game, I probably wouldn't suggest Bullet, but Luffy and Law are still really good. You're going to get access to Snake Man guaranteed, so that's fine. Sabo and Coalla are a good option. Stampede Luffy are a good option. Any of these characters aside from Bullet, I don't think Bullet is very good for early game players. Bullet's perfect for end game players that have access to a lot of characters that can run, you know, like utility units under him and just make his time a whole lot easier. But I think Kaido or any of these other characters in tier 0 are probably what you should be rerolling for if you are just getting into the game. But there we go. That's my tier list for the beginning of March 2020. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and hit a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.